everybody. Welcome back. This is Coach Zack from Besides Sports, the first indoor baseball training facility in Thailand. Now we're going to talk about one of the most fun, exciting, yet most challenging parts of the game, hitting the baseball. So to teach you about that, we're going to step into the batter's box. So the first thing we need to know about the bat is how do we grip the bat, all right? My strong arm, the arm that I throw with, is my right hand. So my left hand goes on the bottom of the bat towards the knob of the bat. So my left hand grabs the bat and my right hand goes right on top. A couple things to take notice of here. My fingers are flat, right? They're in line and they're flat right here. Also, if you look closely, the bat is towards my fingertips. It's not dug way deep towards my thumb because that will cause injury or instability with the bat. So we want to loosen the grip on the bat and have it a little bit in our fingertips. The next thing that we need to know is where do we stand in the batter's box. So we know that the pitcher is trying to throw the ball over this plate right here. So we don't want to stand too close or else we can't hit the ball. We don't want to stand too far, otherwise we won't be able to reach it. Really, there is no perfect place to stand. It's up to you, but you have to understand what the pitcher is trying to do and what your skills are. Now, when it comes to the stance, again, there is no perfect stance, but we do need to make sure of a few things. First of all, we need to be in an athletic position. For me, that means my feet are just outside shoulder width. I have a little bit of bend in my knees, all right? And now you have a few options. Me personally, I have what they call an open stance. So if you take a look at my feet here, they're not in a straight line, but one foot is a little bit open, all right? There is an open stance. There's a closed stance where my front foot is in front of the back foot, or what we call an even stance, where my toes are in a straight line pointing towards the pitcher. Again, there are many different ways to do this, and what feels most comfortable to you is what you can do. All right? So now for our stance, now we have to think about where do we put our hands, okay? So we have our two fists right here, and we want to make sure that our two fists are in some way in line with our back shoulder. So that means a good hand position is anywhere from my top hand being in line to my bottom hand being in line. So you notice I have about this much room for my stance, and it's completely up to you what feels the best. And again, you can be a little bit outside of this, but you have to understand these are the basic building blocks of a good swing. Now we're going to talk about the load. The load is where we create a lot of rhythm and where we get a lot of our power from. The first part of our load is we shift our body from even on both feet to being back towards your back leg. While I'm saying we shift the weight towards your back leg, you don't want to have your weight directly against the knee or behind it or you're going to fall over. So what we like to say is put the weight on the inside part of your back foot. And it looks something like this. I shift back and I would land again. Shift back and I would land forward again. All right? The next part of this is with our hands. All right, so our hands start in a nice position here. And when I load with my hands go back. And now let's take a look at a few things. First, the knob of the bat is pointed right at the catcher. So I'm in a good athletic position. Second, when my hands go back, my shoulders create a little bit of tilt down towards the pitcher, all right? So if I take the bat here, when my load, my hands go back, and notice the bat starts to point down, okay? This puts me in a nice position to attack the baseball in a nice aggressive way to make sure I hit the ball hard. All right? And the last thing with the load is we want to make sure that what we're doing is stretching between our hands and our feet, okay? So when our hands go back and our foot comes forward, we want to make sure we're creating a stretch with our muscles in here in order to have the most whip or the most power with our swing. This happens to be a mistake that a lot of young players do, and let me show you how you can identify this. We like to use a red rubber cord to do something like this. So what I'm going to do is with my front foot, my left foot, I'm going to step inside of it, and my top hand, my strong hand, I'm going to grab the cord. So I get into my nice stance, ready position, and when I do it properly, my hands go back and I step forward, and you can notice this band gets nice and taut. It's stretched out very good. Again, what it looks like when it's correct, my hands go back, my foot goes forward, and I have a good stretch of the band, and it's in a straight line. Now I want to cover two mistakes that I see very often. One common mistake is that a player's hands don't go straight back, but rather they twist their upper body. You can figure this out right away because you lose the cord. right? You twist your upper body and the cord gets lost. There's no straight line. Yes, the band is stretched, but it's stretched in the wrong direction, which will lead to inconsistent swings. Another mistake that I see is even after a good load, on the step forward, some players let their weight transfer too far forward and it looks like this. They load back and they come like this. You can see the band is no longer stretched very much. And what this means is that it's taken away a lot of our power and our ability to hit the ball very strong and athletically. All right, so you can use this drill with some young players or some beginners so they can understand the idea. With your load, you're supposed to create a stretch, separation between your upper body and lower body. So we've covered how to hold the bat, where to stand in the batter's box, how to stand in the batter's box, how to make a load, separation from your upper body and your lower body. And now let's talk about the swing. All right, so when a pitcher's getting ready to throw the ball, their arm goes back and up, and that's when we want to rock back ourselves. So the pitcher's hand goes up and we rock back with him. And then to start our swing, the first thing that happens is your front heel is on the ground. If your heel is not on the ground, then you can't start your swing. Like this, can't swing. But once this heel is down, we start the swing. In baseball, we have a saying, the hips lead the hands. So what that means is once that heel is down, the first thing to go is your hips. Your hips go, and the stretch happens even further, and then your upper body follows through. Okay? One more time. We take our load, we get a good stretch, our heel hits the ground, our hips go, and then our upper body goes as well. All right, now we should talk about a few more things. Let's talk about the contact point. So I'm gonna do another swing and I'm gonna stop at the contact point. All right, I'm loading, I'm in rhythm with the pitcher, my heel's down, my hips go, and now I'm gonna hit the baseball. There are three things I wanna talk about. First, my eyes are watching the ball hit the bat. Second, my top hand is pointed up and my bottom hand is pointed down. Just make sure that my swing is nice. And the last thing we want to talk about is my weight is behind my front leg. Right here, this position, it's strong, it's powerful, it's athletic. If someone were to come and push me out of this position, they would have a hard time doing so because I have a lot of control with what I'm doing here. So the contact point, again, we want to make sure that we are behind this front leg, your head is down, one hand is up, and one hand is down. All right? With the contact point, I'd also like to cover on an inside pitch, a ball that's closer to you, you're gonna hit that ball a little bit further out in front. What does that mean? So this pitch is coming on the inside part of the plate. So when we go to hit that, the contact point is further out in front. Okay? And then, when the ball is on the outside part of the plate, we need the ball to come further, right? So the ball is crossing the plate on the outside, so we need to hit the ball deeper in the strike zone. So then, my contact point is deeper. All right, so inside pitch, it's here. And an outside pitch, you have to wait longer, and it's here. Even though the contact point is different for both swings, you can still notice that with both swings, my weight is behind my front leg, one hand is up, one hand is down, and I'm always watching the ball hit the bat. The last thing we want to talk about here is the follow-through, all right? The follow-through is how you finish the swing. All right, at the end of your swing, you want to be balanced and in control, all right? So a good follow-through looks something like this. Load, stride, I'm right in this position. It's close to where I started. And notice, because my hips twisted, my back foot twisted as well. All right, this is how we know we got the most out of our swing. A lot of the time, people don't use their legs, and what that looks like is they take their swing and they're like this. You can see my feet here, they didn't move at all. This means I didn't use my lower body and I didn't use enough power. All right, so again, a good proper swing looks like this. I use my legs, and you can see, whoops, I'm up on this back foot here, and that means that my hips went through. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you two practice swings off of a batting tee. So you wanna get into a nice ready position. Load. All right, so right there we covered a lot. The grip, the stance, the load, the swing, contact point, and the follow through. We understand that this is a lot to learn in one video. That's why we encourage you to come into Besides Sports, join our Academy classes, or take a private lesson so you can learn more about this. If you want to have more information about hitting or Besides Sports, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or our website, besidesports.com. And make sure to tune in to our next episode How to Run the Bases.